Okay, game 6, the final one of the match here, and I think this is perhaps the most instructive game to me anyway, and you'll see what I'm talking about near the end. So, looking at the board, it is a big Scrying Pool thing. Obviously, it is the only source of draw on the board, the Scrying Pool, so it's a big deal. However, there's no real way to, or no way at all, to trash cards, so it is going to be a bit tricky with regards to the draw, meaning your draw is going to be inconsistent because you can't get rid of your starting cards. So we both go for the Chancellor and the Potion opening here. Chancellor, the main purpose for me buying the Chancellor really is just to try to buy Scrying Pool and then flip the deck, get back to the Potion, and buy as many Scrying Pools as possible. That is really the sole focus of my deck at this point, just to try and build up the amount of Scrying Pools you can get. So here on 5, my opponent goes very quickly for a Horn of Plenty, and it's okay. It's okay, you can gain Lighthouses and Secret Chambers, they are fine cards. Eventually they'll get up to Workers' Villages and Bazaars, so that's fine. But I didn't want the Horn of Plenty in my deck right now. I would much rather put an action card in my deck like a Bazaar or a Workers Village or something. I don't want the Horn of Plenty right now because I don't think I can see it often enough to warrant me doing that. And with me flipping the deck around, I mean, I might not even see it at all. So I go for Bazaar here on 5. Maybe instead of Bazaar, this should have been Workers Village actually, with an eye to the future. Because the way I think about games sometimes is, you have two plans. Long term, what do you want your deck to look like? A bunch of Scrying Pools, right? And then maybe Horn of Plenty at the end, or Bank. That is the main thing that you want to do here. My opponent picks up a Secret Chamber there, which is perfectly reasonable, especially if you overdraw on your Scrying Pools. So yeah, long term, that's what I want my deck to look like, right? But short term, how do you build it? Well, as with the Chancellor and the Potion and these little decisions in the first 8 or so turns matter a lot. So yes, with that regard, knowing that Workers Village was the only plus buy on the board, I probably should have gone for it there instead of the Bazaar. I don't really need the extra money this early in the game. I do need the plus actions now that I picked up the Secret Chamber here, and the Workers Village will provide me with that. Another reason for the Workers Village is that I mentioned at the start of the game my opponent gets a reaction there, which is very nice. I don't think I got any until the very end of the game here. So, right, as I mentioned at the beginning of the game, there is no way to get rid of your starting cards, which means Expedition is going to be a big deal. I'm planning in the later half of this game to be able to, buy a lot of things and then buy an Expedition afterwards, so that I can start with 7 cards in my hand. There's no way for my opponent to reduce my hand size, so that is going to stay. So the Expedition will provide more reliability, which is an issue in this kind of deck. You're going to have some very nice turns where Scrying Pool draws a lot, and then you're going to have some dead turns ordinarily. So I'm hoping a lot here that the Expedition will mitigate that inconsistency and allow me to push forward. So for example, there with that 6 potion, if I had the Workers Village instead of the Bazaar, I could have gone Scrying Pool, Expedition, flipped the deck with the Chancellor, which would have been excellent. But I have the Bazaar now, I don't have the plus buy, so I'm limited in that regard. So I think buying that Bazaar was actually a big deal because I'm not able to pick up a Workers Village until very late into the game, and the reason for that is because I'm using all my buys for Scrying Pool. I have no complaints about that, by the way. I'm well and truly ahead on the Scrying Pool split right now, so I'm quite happy to just be buying Scrying Pools. Although, like I said, it could be better if I had thought a bit more carefully about that one turn where I had no potion in play. So Scrying Pool games are what they are. Going to be very, very long, involves lots of looking at your opponent's deck and your deck and making decisions. So this is what we do for the first part of the game here. I think I end up winning the Scrying Pool split 7-3, which is amazing, which is incredible, more than I bargained for. And my opponent's Horn of Plenty hasn't really done him a lot of good, so I'm quite happy about delaying my decision to buy the Horn of Plenty. I eventually want one, yeah, but I'm going to get it after these Scrying Pools are done. You can get a lot more use out of your Horn of Plenty if you can draw it and play it every single turn, which is what I'm going for before I add payload into my deck. So here, just one of these long Scrying Pool turns. Have the choice of terminal here. Obviously going to be Chancellor over this Secret Chamber so that I can flip my deck and start fresh again. And now I can start looking to expand my deck. I have as much draw as I can get. Let me see what I can do with it. So first step on the agenda is to pick up a Workers Village. Regardless of whether I draw through my entire deck or not, I am going to buy a Workers Village because I desperately need that source of plus buy at this point. So I've sped up the video here a bit and I'll speed it up more even later on into the video here, because it's just, all this is really not a lot to say about this. Place a lot of Scrying Pools, leave something bad on top of your opponent's deck. I don't go digging through my opponent's deck to discard good cards. I don't see the point in that and cycling them that way. So here, going to play the Secret Chamber over the Chancellor because I know I have a couple of Scrying Pools inside the deck there, so I don't want to discard there, knowing that my hand is good. And I finally pick up the Workers Village. Finally, I'm able to now start buying more than one thing per turn, which has been holding me back for this game. Because my opponent has a couple Workers Villages already, plus the Horn of Plenty. So they have been able to gain a few things along the way. They haven't been able to get as many Scrying Pools, obviously, but they have a few more things. But me, I felt in a lot of control for the majority of this game. With 7 Scrying Pools, it's really just a matter of technique to bring this game to victory, I felt. So here, another one of these Scrying Pool turns. Not much to say about that. At this point, I didn't find the Workers Village, which is bad. Obviously wanted to find the Workers Village. And here I can play both my Chancellor and my Scrying Pool, but it isn't going to do me much at this point. I don't need the potion, so I get rid of it for money. And look at this, it's 11 and 1 buy. Awful, awful. And again, had that Bazaar been a Workers Village, I'd have been in a much better position. So I pick up another Workers Village here. I could have gone for Horn at that point. Maybe that was better than the Workers Village, but I want the immediate plus buy, because Horn cannot gain me Expedition, and remember I want to start buying Expedition. So that's why I went for the second Workers Village there. Maybe on this shuffle now I can start to think about a Horn of Plenty when I'm able to buy Expedition, something else, and then now make use of my Horns. Also, it increases the action density, so through this deck of 7 coppers, 3 estates, and the potion, this Scrying Pool is going to be drawing more easily. So here I think I'm finally able to draw through the entire deck, which is not at all, going to happen all the time. I fully expect that. Actually, I'm not able to draw through the entire deck here, my apologies. But this time I have 3 buys and a lot of money. So 12 here, I can go for a Horn, and I think that is what I go for. And I choose the Horn plan over the Bank, although Bank will be worth quite a bit of money because I think Horn is just a lot more flexible and a lot better, although Bank is not bad. Bank is not bad at all. So my opponent has a fairly weak turn there, as I expect him to have just 3 Scrying Pools in his deck. They're not all going to be, good or decent at all. And I finally pick up my first Horn of Plenty here. So it's going to speed up the video quite a bit here because we're fast approaching the end of the game. So here, going to do this trick with the Secret Chamber, discarding all my actions and then redrawing them with the Scrying Pool. I probably could have picked up a bit more money there by discarding the estates, but I didn't do it, so that's a weakness, fault in my play there. And I go for another Horn of Plenty, more Workers Villages, and another Secret Chamber. Maybe I can, discard again and get more money off the Secret Chamber. I'm not sure. So here my opponent buys a province, goes ahead in the points, right? And now there are, 3 Workers Villages and 5 Horns of Plenty left. Don't have a great turn here, despite buying an Expedition. But that is okay. I have 8. I go pick up another Horn of Plenty of this Horn of Plenty, and then I buy another Horn of Plenty and an Expedition. So I have what, 3 Horns of Plenty now. Should be in good shape to control the end of this game here. So my opponent now has a much better turn than before. It comes up with 11 and a horn, 2 horns actually, and they gain a couple more horns and by another province. So this is putting me in a bit of a precarious position because they can threaten the 3 pile and have a 2 province lead here. And this turn is the critical turn of the match, the crucial turn, and it is instructive of probably what not to do by me, because I think I choke and throw away the game on this turn here. So you'll see me spend quite a bit of time here on this this part here. I need the potion to make my horns worth 8 if I need to gain provinces. Now I'm worried about my opponent's 3 pile, and I'm also worried about the point situation. I need to get enough points to prevent the 3 pile. The 3 pile is very easy with the amount of horns my opponent has. I don't know what they can draw though. They bought an expedition at the end of their turn, so I don't know the capacity of what they have, and I think here this is poorly done by me. If you want, you can pause the video here and see what you would do differently, but I liquidate everything. I go for 4 provinces, but I still pick up an estate and an expedition and another secret chamber there. Maybe I should have gone for duchy and estate, but I don't think even that would have helped me, because as you see, my opponent has quite a good turn here and is able to close out the game in front of me. So credit to him for not giving up, but I think I choked this one away.